A warm greeting to everyone. I am Selvi, CSE Department, Assistant Professor, RMD Engineering College. Now we are going to see exception handling in C++ language. First, before going depth about exception handling, first we are going to know the difference between exception and an error. So error, we have compiler error, runtime error, syntax error, multiple errors. So errors means where there is a change. If for example it is a syntax error, means we have not followed the syntax assigned. For example, int a equal to 5 with a semicolon. So this is the syntax for assigning creating a variable and assigning a value for it. If you have missed a semicolon or for instead of integer value, if you have given any float value for an integer variable, that will come under syntax error. So that is a mistake that is done by the programmer while writing the program. We can say it as while typing the program, any typing error like that, that will be considered as an error. Exception is an event or object which is thrown at runtime. We don't know when will the exception will raise. That is we are given input, we are getting from the user and we are going to process it. During the processing of the input, we are going to some conditions which do not have a answer in our program, and also at the same time that condition evaluation make the system to stuck in between. So that will be called as an exception. For handling all these type of exceptions, it was available in std. Std is the header file name, std exception class. So it is a runtime error which can be handled. If you cannot handle these exceptions, it prints the exception message and terminates the program. This is the normal way we are going to handle the exception. For example, for an exception is divide by 0. So for example, we are developing a program for division. What we will give, we will be getting any two inputs. We can give even a float, we can assign float c is equal to a by b. So a and b value we are getting from the user. In suppose the a is equal to 5, b equal to 0, okay, if you given by a user, that is also an acceptable values. So it will go for it won't throw any error while compiling, and while running it will throw an exception that like a multiple statements will get printed, and they make the system to stuck and it terminate on the whole. So this is an example of an exception. Infinity, any answers that throw an infinity means infinity is not printed in the programming language, so it will throw as an exception that will be handled by the class std exception. So in exception handling, we have three keywords: try, catch and throw. Try. The try statement allows you to define a block of codes to be tested for errors while it is being executed. So within the try block, we will having a set of codes which may raise an exception while running a program. That type of code, so to protect that code, we are mentioning it as a protected code. So that type of code will be defined within the try block. Next is catch. So before the three keywords is try, catch and throw. Try will within the try block will be having the set of codes which may throw an error. So that if throw an exception. So for throwing, if throwing an exception should be have a catcher to catch it, like a ball. Like a ball, if a person is throwing a ball, a person should be there to handle the ball, to catch that ball. So for that we use the keyword catch. So we will be using the keyword catch, and it will have a parameters exception name. So here we will be having each exception will have a type and a name with it, and or we can say it as it may throw an argument. So that should be catched by this catch block, and we'll have the set of codes to handle the exception. So you can have multiple catch blocks. Suppose if you cannot able to define the exception, that is where an exception may throw, but the programmer doesn't know what type of exception can be thrown by the try block. So in that cases we use a catch keyword along with the ellipsis symbol, 3 dots. So using this means it can able to handle all type of exception. So whatever the exception thrown by the try block, all that type can be catched by this catch block, and it will have the set of codes for handling that one. This is a very basic simple example for an exception handling. So first starting with, as usual, starting with the header files, iostream std, and then main function. I am getting assigning 3 variables, integer variables, number 1, number 2, number 3, and a float to get the result. First I am getting the input from the user, enter the values of first integer, so num1, num2, num3. I am using C in function. I am getting the input from the user. I am using C++ language to implement the exception handling. Try within the try block, if num1 is minus num2 is not equal to 0, that is the difference of 2 integer is not equal to 0, the result is equal to number 3 divided by the difference number, so num1 minus num2, and see out result, else it has to throw. So suppose I am getting 0 as the difference value, it will be throw. So we will be using the keyword throw and the value. So here you are throwing only 0, num1 minus num2. If it is 0, it will be thrown. That is the condition here. And we have a corresponding catch block here. 0 is an integer, so the argument here, it will be an integer I, int I, and the statement will be printed for this. His answer is infinite because num1 and num2 is 0. So that will be the catch block work. Only this print message will be given by the catch block. So this is the overall working of this program. So we start with one input. I am giving first. Initially I run this program, the compiler, and the expected for this corresponding input, what will be the expected output. So I will compile in the program, and I am pasting only the output here. So if you want to try it, you can try this program, and you can see what will be the output for the multiple different types of inputs. First we are going to enter the values 20, 20, 25. So in case num1 minus num2, what is the num1 here? 20. Num2, what is here? 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. So this if condition fails. So it go for the else part, throw of 0. Throw of 0, it will print the message. Answer is infinite because 20 my number 1 minus number 2 is 0. This will be printed. Next, I am giving different types of inputs. 30, 20, 10. Now 30 minus 20 is 10. So 10 divided by 30, number 3 is 10. 10 divided by 10. The answer will be 1. So result is 1. Only this if condition is passed, only this will be running, and we get without going to the catch block, only the try block will be run, and it will come out of the after try blocks run successfully. It won't enter, the controller won't go to the catch block. Even if it is after the try block, the controller won't go into the catch block, and the program ends. Suppose any statements after the catch block is there, that will be run by the program. Thank you.